So, back to the Airlift actual install, first official part. The wire loom, relatively straightforward. I just need to figure out, you need to run these guys to the battery, simple enough, and this guy needs to go to an ignition source. They recommend ECU or a fuel pump, but we'll see. And your connections for these are for the guys for the height sensor, then your relay and compressor wiring. So it's pretty self-explanatory. The manual actually gives very good diagrams, but straightforward enough. The tank thrown in there just in the box to make sure it actually fits. So what I'm hoping to do is run the wiring and follow the, like I say, the boot cables there, the factory loom, a couple of things like that straight up into the tank, and then worry about where the tank sits and the water trap and so on afterwards. So, and of course find a tidy way to get it out to the battery, which should be straightforward enough, and I'll be back once I figure it out. The wiring is ran to give you plenty of slack, so you can run it whatever way you want. It's quite untidy at the minute, but I just wanted to make sure that I had it the right length at the battery and not end up too short. So as you can see, I've ran it kind of in the little channel there, along with the cable for the boot pull and the petrol cap. I'll eventually get it all tidied up all along there and up into the boot. So it'll be nice and tidy once it's done. All the cable ties are there just to approximate lengths and so on. It goes, let's see if we can make out there. Not really. It goes up out through the firewall where the choke cable goes. You can't really see it there, but no, you can't. But anyhow, so it's ran pretty tidy out into the bay, and it comes out. I probably should have shown all this before I put it back together, but it comes out just down there, just behind the little relay box, just down here. And I have it earthed. Yeah, you can't really see any of this, but you can see a bit of the yellow connector there. That's where it's earthed. And then the cable is ran. You'll never see it, but kind of around the shock tower, comes up just down here. Shouldn't be rubbing off anything of it, but it'll be tidied in a bit more under there. Up along through here, pretty tidy, and then up into the fuse box. And I have it wired. They say you want a constant power to it. They want you to wire it directly to the battery, but I didn't want to have like terminals really obviously on the battery. So I just have it, as you can see, it just kind of tucked in under here and onto this guy right here. That's a constant live for the battery. So, and then once you, as I said before, the idea, I want it to be fairly OE looking. So when you open the bonnet, all you're really going to see is that just there. So maybe with a couple of cable ties, and again, once it gets kind of grubby and stuff as well, you'd never see it. There's also the factory air box and pipe that'll cover the bottom parts of it down here. But it was straightforward. I mean, it's easy to do. Wiring is wiring, like running it at least anyway, but finding a way to keep it tidy looking, like running it this way and so on, a bit of a pain. But other than that, simple enough. So it's getting cold now, so I'm going to pack it in for the night. I've already checked it. I have power directly from the battery all the way back to the relay in the boot, which is just back here. I have power to the relay there. I've tested all that, it should be fine. The other black and reds there go straight to the compressor. The little connection there is if you want to run a second compressor, which I won't be doing. That's pretty much it for today. I'll try and get out at a bit more of it tomorrow, tidy up the lines and finalise the wiring and stuff. But for now, I think that'll do it. It's about maybe a week later since the last clip that you've seen, and I'm at a disappointing discovery, to say the least. So the fittings that they sent me essentially are wrong. These ones are 1/4 inch threaded. This is 1/4 inch fitting, MPT fitting. That is 1/4 inch line. So I had ordered the 3/8 kit. Now that is the 3/8 push to connect fitting for the lines itself, but that is, I think it's like 1/8 or something NPT fitting, so completely wrong. So they don't thread into the actual shocks themselves, the air shocks, but the line that I got does fit there, obviously, because it's 3/8, whereas these do fit into the shocks, but that's not the appropriate fitting for the line. So essentially none of those are any good to me. The water trap stuff is correct, all of the fittings for the drain and so on, that's all fine, but everything here is wrong. So I mentioned it on an air traders group on Facebook and a lot of people said that essentially the same thing has happened to them. They emailed Airlift and were told tough shit, essentially. So I've emailed them, it's over a week now and I still haven't gotten anything back, but it's kind of not surprising. Yesterday was Christmas Day, so I mightn't hear back from them for at least another week or so. But in the meantime, I have ordered the appropriate fittings from a place recommended on the Facebook group called Car Audio Security. They're in England, which is the 1/4 inch NPT fitting then to a 3/8 push to connect fitting. So it's essentially a combination of the two of those. So they should arrive, I'd like to think, in the first couple of days of January. I also ordered the 90 degrees fitting for that, so instead of that just going straight into the tank and sticking up, potentially clashing with the body there, it'll go in at 90 degrees instead. Make it a lot easier to fit. The only issue with that is the one I bought is it's just an aluminium fitting, which eventually over time will be prone to maybe starting to rust a little bit on the inside. Just over whatever little bit of moisture might be in there. Now if I keep on top of draining the tank and stuff, it shouldn't be too big of a deal, but we'll worry about that when we get there. If I can find a brass one or a stainless one, then we'll go with that. But for now, until those fittings arrive, once again the project is at a standstill. Now in the meantime, we've just gotten shut down, or at least the sector that I work in over here has been shut down yesterday on Christmas Eve till at least maybe, I don't know, they're saying the middle of January, but I'm going to take that with a pinch of salt. So what I might do is get the lines ran at the very least in the same channel along there with the wire, and there's still a reasonable amount of room. I might just have to rejig a couple of things. We'll get that done anyway, because hopefully now I'm going to have so much time off, or at least maybe a month anyway, that I'll be able to get things, at least something done, and hopefully then the sooner those fittings arrive the better. But in the meantime, I'm going to try and get the front wing taken off and the bumper out of the way and so on, and see where, if anywhere, I can bring the line out behind the wheel arch liner there and up in here somewhere to connect to the strut. I'm not entirely sure what way that'll all work yet, but it'll take a bit of messing around. But that's pretty much it. So this video has taken about nearly 2 weeks to put together for something that's quite short, but anyway, there's at least progress of some sort. I am going to also, I think I've got a fairly solid idea of the layout in the boot and what way I'm going to arrange it so I can still access the spare wheel and keep these kind of the OE sort of foam. You can see the grey bits there, like that's for the toolkit, and that's just another one for spacing. So that's pretty much it. Once the new fittings arrive, which hopefully will be in the next couple of days, we get it all put together and carry on from there. Peace.